Solomon, son of David, richest and wisest king, teacher, preacher, poet, composer, engineer, God's chosen to build his temple. The meaningless man. As far as I'm concerned, I call him the meaningless man. He lived in luxury and grandeur. He tasted everything that is good in life. The wealth, the power, the women, and slaves kowtow before him. His wish is everyone's command, and yet he was never satisfied, never happy, never content. Then he realized that everything is nothing but meaningless. After all that has been said and done in Ecclesiastes chapters 1 to 11, the long narrative of his accomplishments and achievements, he came into a conclusion that all is meaningless. At the end of his narrative, he reverted to the conclusion to fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of mankind. I think he realized that everything really depends on God. That everything you want can only be given to you by God. He realized that. In spite of all his accomplishments, he said it's meaningless. In spite of what he sees in the world, the grandeur of his palaces, he said it is meaningless. But in Ecclesiastes 12, 13 to 14, it is written, and I read from ESB, the end of the matter, all has been heard. For fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. Narinig na daw po natin ang lahat. Nakita na niya ang lahat. And yet, at the end of the day, sinabi niya, fear God and keep his commandments, knowing that he didn't. He concluded that we need to keep the commandments of God. For this is the whole duty of man. Maybe sometime in his lifetime, during the time that he was doing all these things, nakakalimutan pa rin niya ang Diyos. No? And forget his commandments. And then realize at the end of the story that it is the whole duty of man. And in verse 14, for God will bring every deed into judgment, including every hidden thing, whether it is good or evil. Makikita po natin dito na hindi tayo makakalusod sa Panginoon. Depende din po yun sa ating motibo, sa ating paggawa ng mabuti, at sa ating paggawa ng mga bagay kung ito ba'y pang sarili o hindi. Sabi nga po, every deed into judgment. No? He will bring it. Including every hidden thing, whether it is good or bad. So, talaga pong haharap tayo sa Kanya on Judgment Day. Hindi lamang ho yung mabuting mga ginawa natin, hindi lamang ho yung mga masasamang ginawa natin, kundi susubukin po ang puso natin. Titingnan ang puso natin. How did we do good? Is it for selfish gain? Or is is it really dedicated and keeping in the commandments of our God? So, tatanungin ko po kayo ngayon, what you do now has eternal consequences. You are going to give an account. Makikita po natin na sa harap ng Diyos, makikita po at ipakikita sa atin ang ating mga ginawa. In other words po, sa Tagalog, magsusulit tayo sa Panginoon sa lahat ng ating ginawa dito sa lupa. Sabi nga po sa Hebrews 4:13 NIV, nothing in all creation is hidden from God's sight. Everything is uncovered and laid bare before the eyes of Him to whom we must give account. So think about it, brothers and sisters. If we are going to give an account to the Lord, wouldn't it open or awaken us or enlighten us of what we are going to do with the rest of our life here on earth? Wouldn't we think twice or thrice before doing anything? Like, am I doing it for myself? Am I doing it for others? Am I doing it for God? And I ask you, are you ready to give an account to God? Kung pagbubulay-bulayin po natin ang lahat ng mga ginawa natin dito sa mundo, tayo po ba ay handa na to give an account to the Lord? Mabibilang po ba natin o matitimbang natin ang mga ginawa natin para sa Kanya? Ilan po kaya dito yung sincere na ginawa natin sa Panginoon and keeping with His commandments? Ilan din naman po yung parang, yes, nagmi-ministry work tayo, pero wala naman doon ang puso natin. Yes, nag-commit tayo, pero hindi naman natin tinutupad ang ating commitment. What do you think will God do about it? It is to His favor, nasasabihin, well done, good and faithful servant. When in fact we know that He sees your heart. Alam po ninyo, God has always been fair. He will ask you, are you ready to give an account to Him? How do you think you will fare? Tagilid po ba ang ating timbangan? Mas mataas po ba yung mga ginawa natin sa Kanya wholeheartedly and keeping with His commands? Parati ba tayong naaalala siya sa bawat sandali ng buhay natin when He says in His command, pray without ceasing? Mga kapatid, God's mandate is precise and clear when it comes to the verdict on His verdict on Judgment Day. Magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat.